Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Burnley 0, Chelsea 3. Chelsea's best performance and win of the season so far. Really emphatic performance, a really complete and balanced performance by Chelsea today. I think it's everything we dreamed of going into this season, especially from an attacking standpoint and looking at those attackers, getting them into the game, looking fluid, looking fast, looking threatening. Something we haven't seen so far this season, but I think matched with the defensive improvement over the previous weeks, today rounded that all off for me. It was a really complete performance, and I think there were so many amazing individual performances to talk about. I think you really have to be positive and encouraged moving forward that Chelsea can now start to grow some consistency in not only the Premier League but the Champions League as well. I think the biggest talking point going into this game was what was Lampard going to set up with? You know, a 4-2-3-1, sticking to that for most of the season so far. He used the 3-4-3 against Man United, or the 4-3-3, which is what he started with today against Burnley. And I think it gave Chelsea the perfect platform to go and dominate and control this game against a team that I think played to our strengths. I think Burnley, looking at this game and looking how well the team played, which you absolutely have to credit, and I'm delighted by the performance in certain elements. It was wonderful to watch some of Chelsea's interplay, sort of the attackers, how fluid it looked, how connected. The chemistry within that performance was so amazing. But I think how narrow Burnley play, they don't have pace on transition to hurt us with that front two. I think we dealt with a physical battle of the game really well at Burnley today, especially that centre-back pairing of Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma, who seem to be so well suited to one another. But I think in terms of looking forward and consistently with this formation, you want to see it against a higher pressing team to see how that would trouble Chelsea. I mean, anytime Chelsea lost the ball, Burnley didn't really have the platform to hit us on the break very quickly. So that helped Chelsea. But all round, I think the balance of, you know, pushing the fullbacks up high to create width, you need it in a game against a low block, and sort of switching play consistently. And that came through the likes of Hakim Ziyech, the likes of Mason Mount. I think that first half we dominated so well, controlled the game. Of course, there was the early scare with Ashley Barnes, but really that was the closest Burnley came to scoring all day. And I think it shows you how resolute and how structured we were to prevent any of those moments again as the game moved on. Chelsea really asserting themselves. The first goal coming from Hakim Ziyech. I mean, we're looking at Hakim Ziyech, and eventually he did create a goal later on in the game, but so far, you know, 2 full starts for Hakim Ziyech. He scored 2 goals for Chelsea, scoring against Krasnodar, scoring his first Premier League goal today. I believe he's the first Chelsea player to do that in his first 2 starts since Diego Costa. So great company to be in, but he had a wonderful game. It was a really smart finish. I think a lot of us, when he got that ball from Tammy in a really tight area, that he was going to go for the far post, whipping it with his left foot, but actually to cut it the other way. The falling Pope in goal helped Chelsea get the lead. And from there, what I liked was not only pressing for that second goal, which could have come, Burnley having to do basically last-ditch defending, but getting in between the lines. I think that was something that we've lacked in recent games, and I've seen it far too often so far this season, where our best attacking players get isolated. We kept on moving the ball fastly, switching play, using it intelligently. There seemed to be a fluidity and sharpness there. It definitely helped Chelsea keep the pressure on, and that's what I loved. Whether it was one of the fullbacks pressing, Kai Havertz, N'Golo Kante, Mason Mount, there seemed to be a willingness from Chelsea to harass Burnley players anytime we lost the ball, and that's what you want to see. That type of energy is going to benefit Frank Lampard's system, and it did today. And then you're sort of looking at the second half, going into the second half. I believe Burnley changed shape, 4-3-3, brought on Jay Rodriguez, who can give you a problem, but he gave us no problems today. And what I liked about that was the first sort of 10-15 minutes of the second half, you felt the game was turning maybe a little bit, Burnley starting to get a bit more of the ball. But I think what it shows you, the defensive improvement over the previous weeks compared to, say, the game against Southampton, other games we've seen under Lampard, where the game switches and turns and swings the other direction, and we can't swing it back the other way. Today, we really managed it well, prevented any clear-cut opportunities in front of Mendy. Mendy barely having to do anything today. He could have got his deck chair out and started watching Netflix, to be honest, because barely anything came near his goal, and that was down to Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva. And Kurt Zouma getting his goal from the corner. I mean, he's such a threat from set pieces, and it's wonderful to see already Kurt Zouma getting 3 goals this season, 2 from corners, the first day of the season against Brighton today, and also that goal against Crystal Palace. When he leaps like that, it's very hard to stop him, and he got into the right position, 2-0. It was a key goal at a key moment, definitely killed the game at that moment. I think Burnley lost all sort of confidence, or any momentum they were starting to grow, I think was killed dead at that point. And the third goal was absolutely lovely. It was the goal of the day. It was set up so well, so beautifully. Reece James pressing up high once again, winning the ball, finding Hakim Ziyech in a central position, who then delicately passed the ball through to Timo Werner. And Timo had a difficult day. You know, he was struggling to get into the game. He had a heavy touch all day, struggling to get into the right positions, but he finished that goal absolutely clinically to get his name on the score sheet and round off a really good performance. I think star players, there's so many on the pitch today. I think Hakim Ziyech will probably get man of the match because of the fact he scored the goal, scored the opener, and also set up the third goal. I think he was brilliant once again. And, there's certain moments, delicate moments, creative moments where you can see what Ziyech can do to this Chelsea team and really improve our creativity. But I also think you've got to mention the likes of Mason Mount today. I thought Mount was exceptional on the ball today. I think he really was. Those diagonals a few times, switching play, absolute perfection. I think for the first time this season, playing in a central role from the start, definitely benefited Mason. He got the corner, took the corner that Kurt Zouma scored to make the second goal. I think Mason was brilliant today, and I really want to give him credit because I see so much abuse and nonsense on social media. Today, Mason deserves his credit, proving why he should be in Frank Lampard's starting 11. Mason deserves credit. N'Golo Kante, if there was anyone else other than Ziyech to give man of the match to, it would be N'Golo Kante. He was perfect today in that number 6 role. It's just wonderful to see whatever you can sort of analyse about his performance, being in the right place, intercepting at the right moments, his passing improved from recent weeks, not giving the ball away after winning it back. All of that stuff, dropping between the centre-backs to help for a passing option. But also, I think just it's lovely to see Kante back to his best fitness. We've had all these injury issues with him over the past year. It's wonderful to see him being managed well. When he's at his best, he's an incredible talent. He can change games. He can win games on his own, really, in terms of winning the midfield battle. And he was world-class today. He really was. I don't like using that term, but he's a world-class player, and he proved it once again today. And him being fit in that form is going to do Chelsea so much good moving forward. And he's going to be playing in that role, I think, a lot more under Lampard, especially after this dominant performance. But all round, brilliant performance, wasn't it? I think we'll be watching the highlights, the extended highlights. I'll probably be analysing this game a bit more in the coming days on my channel because I'm probably leaving out some brilliant players. I thought Ben Chilwell has been brilliant so far this season, and I think the level of him so far in performance has been so high. His almost elegant performance today sort of goes under sort of stated in a sense. Reece James once again offering everything you want from him in a game of this nature. Once again, unfortunate not to get an assist from one of his crosses. I think it will eventually come. It's getting closer and closer. But Reece James deserves credit too, especially for his hand in the third goal, winning the ball back high up the pitch. Thiago Silva just looking so accomplished, such pedigree, and he's really starting to find his feet at Chelsea too. So all round, an amazing performance by Chelsea. It's going to give us real confidence, I think, not only going into the Rennes game, but the 2 Premier League games coming up. You've got Sheffield United next week at home at Stamford Bridge, but also Newcastle following in the international break. And I believe after that is the Spurs game, and based on Spurs form, that's going to be a big game, as it always is. But I think that Chelsea hopefully can make a run of good form now. We were resilient in defence, balanced in midfield, and clinical up top. The perfect performance. Those are my thoughts on Chelsea's 3-0 win over Burnley. Please give me yours in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also give the video a like and follow me on Twitter at Son of Chelsea. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you again.